Cool. Sounds good. Saeed here. Any updates on what affects the bestseller rank? I mean, I think he's saying, what are the current effects of it, and are there any changes to that? I've seen sellers suddenly coming on BSR from nowhere, despite not so positive reviews. Liran?
The question is, what is affecting bestseller rank? I mean, there are, as far as, bestseller rank is affected by, is a bestseller rank. There's two different things, right, that we have to separate. Yeah. One is BSR and one is ranking. You can rank on the top of page one with your BSR being very, very bad, because there are sort of, there are techniques using bots, for example, and just sending traffic to the page, having bots move up and down the page, adding to cart, and doing things like that without generating a sale that are still working for getting ranked. So just because, so there isn't necessarily a direct correlation between having good BSR and ranking. At the same time, you could have an amazing BSR and not rank for a particular keyword because you're not driving sales through that keyword. So it's two different things. But yeah, I mean, if you see people on page one and they have a very poor BSR compared to everybody else, then they're probably using some kind of bot or some kind of method that helps rank without actually generating sales.
Gotcha. Casey, do you want to add anything here?
Yeah, I mean, Liran essentially covered it. Bestseller rank, like the bestseller rank or bestseller badge, is all dependent on the number of orders, not number of units. And it's like they most heavily weight recency. And then keyword ranking, like Liran said, is like completely independent. You can rank without driving any sales, in which your bestseller rank would be really bad.
Yeah. Sounds good. Paul, we haven't heard much from you. Do you want to contribute anything here at all?
Yeah, pretty much. When it comes to this, the bestseller ranks is that I'm training up a new assistant now, and that we had a discussion today that she confused bestseller ranking, sorry, BSR, with the actual keyword ranking. She says, but wait a minute, we have a really bad keyword ranking, but we're making sales. Like, doesn't make sense. No, actually, it's completely different. BSR and just your keyword ranking are two completely different things. I saw a question just popped up there. Saying Coco said they found some products are organically ranking on first page in the US, but do not generate much sales. Why is that? It could be because maybe you're higher priced than the rest of page one. It could be because your images are not the best on page one.
Or nobody's searching for those keywords.
Exactly. Yeah, just low search volume. Yeah, you're going off
no demand on the keyword for sure. Yeah.
There's just so many factors there. Also, is that the amount of time someone says to me, "I want page one," I'll say, "What's the search volume?" And they say 100, then that doesn't really amount to much, because only if your keyword your targeting has a significant search volume, only then is it worthwhile actually pursuing it.
Another thing I'd look at there as well is just check your search term report and just check your impression count on that term, and just see if you've actually got any impressions and then whether there's any real demand there or not.
And if you have brand analytics, that's another area where you can look at a keyword and you can try to gain an understanding of where are the sales happening on the page, because Amazon with brand analytics will give you the top 3 most clicked ASINs, and then you can kind of see, okay, are these top 3 at the top of the page? Are they further down the page? If they're further down the page and they have a good BSR, that means customers are scrolling more down the page for that. One of the cool things, I'll give a shout out to Casey, that they've done is these shopper insight reports where they'll track this over like a 12-week period. And so every week they're looking at the different ASINs that are getting the top clicks, and you can really get a really good sort of like heat map sense of what's happening on the page, because you're not just looking at it at a snapshot for what Amazon is giving you. They're actually tracking it over time, and you can get a sense of a keyword, if it's worth targeting a specific keyword or not, based on where the sales are happening on the page.
Sounds good. Guys, I know this has been posted across multiple Facebooks through the Facebook Live. If you've got any questions, drop comments in the boxes there. John Shepherd says, does anyone have any idea which part of EBC content has the most impact on ranking? I don't think it does. From my understanding, it does an index. Maybe wrong. Keywords behind the photos or description text. Is it actually worth putting keywords behind the photos? I think we just lost Ivelin again. But, yeah, from my understanding, there's some play in terms of getting some Google ranking through Google Images, which is second or the third largest search engine behind Google itself and the YouTube search engine, right? But still, I don't know whether just putting keywords in there is going to be enough to get you some decent rankings on search terms within those images, because they've got to have some level of weight behind them.
I think with EBC, you really want to focus on conversion for your listing. Yeah. What's going to convert the best? What's going to look the best? It's an opportunity to potentially showcase some of your other products for a brand. You could add a comparison chart on the bottom, which will also show your other products, potentially try to cross-sell other like complementary products that you have. So I would really focus on using EBC to convert, not necessarily to rank.
You should be including all your most important keywords in your title anyways.
I mean, as coming back to the point of indexing being separate to rank, yeah, sure, there's some Google plays there with naming the images, embedding some data within the JPEG, all of that. But what's going to impact your rank is your conversion rate, and what's going to impact your conversion rate is your EBC. In China, there was someone actually that stated that Amazon themselves, a senior account manager, came out and stated a 5% uplift in conversion as a result of a solid EPC. So if it impacts your conversion rate, it impacts your rank. So indirectly, yes, not directly.
It's
an interesting question. Does search volume for brand names affect BSR in their category?
That's a great question.
So I mean, indirectly, kind of like Dan was saying, here's the answer to anything BSR. BSR is strictly dictated by the number of orders for a product. So yeah, I mean, if there's more search volume, then theoretically, they're getting more sales. But the only thing impacting BSR, we've done like some insane studies around trying to reverse engineer BSR algorithm, all this stuff. It's all about number of orders, not number of units. And it's also kind of like the recency. So if you had 10 orders in the last 2 hours, that your BSR is going to be better than if you had those 10 orders 6 hours ago or 10 hours ago. But yeah.
I mean, the answer to this, so the question is, does search volume on a brand name impact BSR? I mean, the search volume for Nike would, of course, impact the BSR for Nike products, right? If people are searching for Nike and then buying. So,
yeah.
Cool.
And also, one thing I've seen as well is how legitimate and useful is keyword ranking. I've noticed in my personal tests, some of the keyword ranking shows up really well. So we top of page 1 for a really good volume keyword and just no sales. And again, also, I was hoping Ivelin would be here, because does keyword ranking differ from mobile to desktop? And the software we use to measure keyword ranking, does it check all data points or just one aspect?
Yeah.
So yeah, going back to Liran's point about brand analytics, in the search terms, you can really get a good feel for, okay, these different products, where were they ranking when they were driving the majority of sales? And like, I think, Paul, to your point earlier about the fact that if you don't have reviews, if you have bad review rating, if you don't have a good price point, if you don't have what people are looking for, if you're ranking for grill brush, but you have a spatula or something like that, like, you're not going to drive those sales. So what we've done some analysis on kind of this question. So when we look at sales potential on Amazon, we typically see like anywhere between 15 and 40% of sales coming from PPC, where the other like 60 to 85% is largely coming from keyword rankings. So, in the past, we never focused on PPC because we could get ranking very easily with giveaways. We'd be driving a significant amount of sales. Like, we'll get ranking for iPhone 10 case and sales will jump up to 100 or like 500 a day or something just from driving that ranking. But if we had this iPhone 10 case ranking for the keyword iPhone 7, then of course we're not going to drive sales, or we have no reviews, or we have a bad product or something like that, then of course, we're not going to drive sales. But using brand analytics, you can at least see, so for example, like let's say there's 100,000 searches for this keyword and you're ranking well for it, top 5, but you're not seeing very many sales. I would really encourage you to go check your brand analytics and see, are you one of the top 3 most clicked ASINs? And if you are, then that means that there's just not good sales volume through that keyword, because search volume and sales volume is very different. So, kind of to that point, if you search AA batteries, we see from some internal Amazon data that sales or conversion from search to purchase is very high. But if you go look at the keyword like Father's Day gift or Mother's Day gift, then the conversion from search to purchase is much lower because, one, this is a word where people are kind of doing discovery or shopping, and they may narrow their search down later. So they might search Father's Day gift, they might see funny socks and say, oh, that's a good idea. And then they're going to search, funny socks, and that's the keyword that they're actually going to be driving the sales from. So it's definitely this intricate web where you have to use a number of different data points to really kind of understand why you are or are not driving sales and how you can improve that.
Sounds great.